Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm in South Wales once again, and look how good the weather is, although it is still very, very cold. Today I'm back here to share with you the opportunity that is South Wales. I'm meeting Anwar, who is one of my Property X program members and one of our sourcing clients. Let's go and have a look. Right, follow me around. I'm going to give you a quick tour of what this house looks like. So down here, we've got a nice big open plan living. We've got the owner, Anwar, here, who I'll introduce you to in a second. And at the back here, I'm going to take you through to the kitchen. So follow me through. Got a really nice galley kitchen, which is currently being refurbished with access out to the garden. Don't trip over Justin. Moving into the back of the house, very common with this style of layout of house. We've got obviously the bathroom at the back, which is also being refurbished at the moment. They're just having it repainted and retiled. We'll overlay some footage of what the back of the house looks like and the courtyard looks like. There's understairs storage just there. Upstairs, we of course have bedrooms. This is bedroom number 3, our landing. Bedroom number 2, last but not least, you guessed it, bedroom number 3. And this would have all been one bedroom at one point. This here has been divided into 2 to create this into a 3-bedroom terraced house. And once finished, when this hits the rental market, this should rent out for about £775 per calendar month. And right now, there is fantastic rental demand in this area. In fact, we are sourcing lots of properties in this area right now because, well, A, the tenants and the demand is fantastic, but B, because this is just a great area. Really good part of South Wales in the valleys, only 30 minutes away from key areas such as Cardiff and Newport.
On the cusp, not too old to adjust, old dog, new tricks. Remember I was just a pup, something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good karma is a must, still my shooter in the cut.
Well, I'm very excited, first of all, Anwar, to introduce you to my channel, to the YouTube channel. So thanks very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And for letting us have a look around your house. So you are a Property X program member,
yeah,
and a sourcing client of ours. And I guess the first thing I want to ask you, being that you're now 24 years old, can you, or would you have pictured yourself at 18, probably out in the clubs, going out on the weekends, buying your first buy-to-let at 24 years old?
It wasn't something that was on my mind at that age. I knew I wanted to go into doing something in property. That's why I got a corporate job in project management after university. A lot of people come to realise when they start running up the rat race, up the corporate ladder, that kind of want a bit more. So yeah, I wouldn't have expected it this early, but yeah, quite happy that I've managed to secure this one and it's underway and almost got it over the line. In
terms of obviously your goals, like what are you working towards with buying this first investment property?
The experience, to be honest. I think following from back like 2019 when you had the whiteboard videos, looking into it and saying, oh, shouldn't be that hard, how hard can it be? And then you're looking into actually buying it, well, there's quite a lot to go into it. Looking at getting this first one over the line was just to go through the process, make sure I knew and understood how buying a house would go, how to estimate a refurb, getting connected with professional teams as well. And then hopefully looking towards getting another one next year, when I come back, hopefully. Yeah. And then looking to go on to bigger, larger scale projects, flips, just keep recycling that money.
And as you mentioned just a second ago, you work in London in a corporate job within property, but on larger scale projects and kind of behind the scenes, don't you?
Yeah, like they're called commercial real estate, so sort of like office fit outs.
Do you think that set you up for doing this project, or is there a lot of differences?
There's a lot of crossover. So managing stakeholders is a massive part of my job day to day. So managing sort of the trades, managing solicitors, mortgage brokers, it goes hand in hand really. I can pick up the phone, talk to them, build relationships with them and make sure I can sort of get out of them what I need while obviously not trying to force stuff down their throat. So there's a lot of spillover there. And then in terms of actual construction and building work, you get an insight into sort of how prices fluctuate, what sort of skilled labour we have within the UK. So I have a better overview of the whole construction industry across the UK. So it does have some transfer in here, obviously being residential. Some slight differences, not massive JCT contracts that we're used to, or lack of. But yeah, a lot of crossover, gained a lot of experience through doing that, and then hoping to now come and funnel that into doing the residential stuff.
Good, good. we'll head into the next room.
Fantastic. Follow me.
Absolute natural.
I have not been practicing in the car.
Yeah.
Like talking to myself for like half an hour.
So obviously moving into the kitchen, the main thing I want to explain to the channel is that this is what I'm going to coin as, and this, I need to come up with a more inventive name, but as a light BRR.
Yeah.
Right, and I have coined that in how I teach it to the guys in the group, but it's that you don't always have to find a project that requires you to go fully back to brick. And actual fact, what you're better to do is like focus on finding someone that needs to sell a property that's in a motivated position. So I'm pretty sure with this one, the guys with this one, I believe, were divorcing.
Correct, yeah.
And it's obviously they were looking to obviously sell and just go their separate ways, and therefore there is a motivated situation. So the property was also a little bit tired, needed someone to come in and obviously put a bit of love into it and a bit of money into it, and therefore it could be secured at a slightly lower price. And was coming in to spend a bit of money on it, which we'll talk about in a second, but then we can push it up to that same potential end value that you might have got if you'd done this whole full refurbishment on another property. So I think there's a great opportunity there with doing this style of project. In terms of, I guess, numbers, do you want to share, I guess, what the expected numbers were and then the reality of what it's looking like now?
There's a bit of backstory behind this. I had an investor who was going to put up all of the money for this project, and at the ninth hour pulled out, which is frustrating to say the least. We were a couple months into sort of the purchase process. Then had to go through bridging loan, increased the costs by about 3.5 to 5 grand, depending on how long the refurb's taking, and looking more towards 5 grand now. So bit annoying and an extra cost which I didn't expect to have, but it's, you know, it comes part and parcel with the game. Like if you're going to put capital at risk, there's going to be some extra costs that come up. So that's an additional 5k just on the bridging side. Then in terms of refurb, quoted roughly around 10k, and then we had a couple of issues, one being one behind you, sockets being too close to the cooker. Now that's only something that I would have picked up on, the electrician would have picked up on if he was here reviewing everything within the house. So got missed, unfortunately. That was a bit of an uplift. Same thing with some other connection issues underneath there. That came up to an extra roughly £1,000 on top of the initial 10k quote. A couple of other like minor items upstairs. There's a bit of extra plastering, a couple of a gas safety cert, and some other certs which are needed. And it like I say, it comes part and parcel in it. About a 10% uplift in the original quote. I think that's not too bad.
Not too bad overall. Obviously it's frustrating. You never want to spend more than you have to.
Yeah.
But longevity, you owning this for what, 10 years, 20 years plus potentially.
Yeah.
So it'll become absorbed in the rent that you earn, and hopefully the less issues that come up in the future.
Sure.
That's the goal, and hopefully absorbed in what you might get in end value as well.
Fingers crossed.
So
And
yeah,
value-
definitely
valuation
fingers
as well.
crossed as well. What other things have you noticed about this project, or might you have to change about this project?
So just going back on what I was saying about working within commercial real estate in London, this balustrade is too short. I work a lot with building control people, and in essence, if balustrade comes below my hip, there's a good barometer that it is too low. So this is going to have to be raised by, I think, about 20 centimeters to be able to, I say, sign off by building control. It's just a general health and safety issue, which, again, for longevity, I don't want to have a phone call saying that somebody's had an accident in here because the balustrade was too low and they've fallen down. So it's going to be, you know, an additional cost, which, again, comes part and parcel with it. Annoying that hadn't got picked up prior to then build it into the quote. But there's been another couple of like joinery items which we're going to look at as well. So a couple of the doors as well, they've thought they were savable, but may as well just get rid of them. If I'm going to get a carpenter in to redo this, I may as well just get doors redone as well. I assume it's probably going to be another 1,100 quid maybe, off the top of my head. Yeah.
For something like this, personally, I think, in my eyes, like a builder should pick that up. Again, you can't pin that on them, because equally it should be obviously the sourcer, or it should be the person viewing it and buying it, whoever is, you know, looking to purchase that property if not using a sourcer. But ultimately, if a builder's coming in to quote, this should be something that they are aware of and should spot. And if not, and if you're thinking, well, who is going to spot that? If I don't spot that, the builder doesn't spot that, the letting agent probably will spot that. They're like the final person that's going to come in, do a sweep, and they'll have certain things and regulations that they have to meet. Unfortunately, that's often a little bit too late, because your builder's done everything, the house is looking really nice, and then they go, oh yeah, this is too low, and then you've got to get someone come in and make the house messy again. But at least they would have done it had everyone have missed it along the way, wouldn't they?
Exactly. So, at least it did get picked up, which is the main item.
On the theme of obviously this being that kind of light buy, refurbish, refinance model, roughly how long do you think the refurb is going to take in total?
I think we started early to mid-October. It was supposed to be a 5-week program, but again, more unforeseen circumstances. Boiler was turned on Monday and then broke on Tuesday. So I have to get a couple parts in, which are not going to be here for a week. So that's going to delay the gas safety cert. The house is quite cold, meaning that some of the paintwork's not drying in a quick enough time to then get a second coat on, or just for example, the plaster patch repair that we've got there, that's taking a decade to dry out, just because there's no heat in the house at the minute, unless we've got the electric heaters. So
yes,
I'm hazard a guess maybe a couple more weeks left, with a couple of additional sort of snagging items which we picked up today, but hopefully getting the letting agent in maybe in 2 weeks' time to get media in and get it listed on the market.
Yeah, because in an ideal world, this model works best if you can get in and out 4 weeks. Obviously, then you've got to mitigate the refinance. You know, obviously, if you're doing a really quick refurbishment, you're not spending too much money, that can affect your refinance, because a bank's going to come in and they might not feel that you've justified uplifting the value. That's a different hoop to jump through. In an ideal world, if you're doing that light BRRR model, you want quick in, quick out. But I think it just highlights the fact that property it rarely goes to, you know, full plan, does it? So
there's always something that's going to come up. So I was expecting some delays in some items, which again would cause us some issues. There were some trade issues as well with the builder, so that's sort of knocked over some of the other items. So shouldn't have had the carpets in until the decorating was done, but we've had to rejig some stuff around to try and get the program closed out.
So I want to ask you about expectations versus reality, because you've watched a lot of these videos before on YouTube and different styles of content about property when trying to learn about it. But now that you're here and you're experiencing your own one, how do you feel about it? Is it very different? What are the main differences?
Online, it's so glamorized. I'm just going to buy it for this price, spend this much on a refurb, it's going to end up at this, and I'm going to make X amount of money. But in reality, you've got to coordinate trades, you've got to coordinate your professional team, you've got to send documents, you've got to do a lot of stuff, which can end up be quite overwhelming. So I had to send a lot of stuff through solicitors, then I had to get the bridge last minute, and that's something which I had no experience in doing. And then all of a sudden I'm like, right, I've got to make a decision, make it now, and go and do it. So there's a lot of, I say action taking, but a lot of just like sitting down, going 3, 2, 1, what do I need to do, and then just going and doing it. Otherwise you'll get stuck in this perpetual loop of, should I do this, should I have done that, when movement is better.
Like movement, not perfection?
Yeah, movement, not perfection. So
do the task, move forward, otherwise you can get overwhelmed, can't you?
Exactly, and I sort of felt that slightly with like a bridging loan, where I was like, I'm not sure if I should do this, should I try and find another investor? But at the end of the day, I was just like, no, I need to get it done. Let's just go for a bridge. It worked with the numbers as well, so it wasn't too bad in the end. But yeah, it can be quite overwhelming just with the amount of information and knowledge that you need to have, and then go put into like the power team and talking to them about different aspects of the project all throughout the purchase. So yeah, it's not as glamorous as they always say.
Would you therefore say, obviously, like investing in yourself and maybe working with us as sourcers has been a valuable experience?
100%, yeah. So I look at it as in, I've paid a sourcing fee to then learn all of your mistakes that you've made over the last 5 to 6 years while doing property. And I think that's more valuable than trying to do it on my own and then potentially making £100,000 mistake, which I mean, we both know almost happened. There was a house that we were going to do in Blackpool. Unfortunately, that had some structural issues, which we then pulled out of. But hadn't I have known to then go and get a level 3 structural survey and do my due diligence properly, I could have been in a bit of a pickle up that way. So it's invaluable what you can learn from somebody else. So investing in the knowledge, the teams, all the help that you can get. I mean, you've been on hand to answer any of my questions along with Matt, and it's been pretty plain sailing. If I needed something answering, it's within a day and it's back and it's something's been fixed.
Cool. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I didn't pay you to say that.
Yeah,
so.
He's just giving me his Tesla.
Yeah, yeah. In terms of the numbers, I want to cover the numbers because like that's something that people love to hear. So with this one, the purchase price was
it was originally 90. Got slight reduction because there was the fire alarms which needed to be hardwired in, and we also pushed back on a potential structural issue. It might be hard to see on camera, but we are probably 30 centimetres lower than the cameraman at the moment, but it's structurally sound, so we managed to negotiate some of that money off. So 88,500 was purchase price. Refurb, I assume, is going to come up to maybe 14,000 with the additional uplifts and other things that we want to get done. Solicitor fees, broker fees, I think another circa 5,000 to 6,000 roughly. So all in all, I can't do the maths in my head that quickly.
that's all good.
Yeah, we'll flash it on screen.
We'll show the numbers on screen, like the total cost.
Yeah.
What do you think what do you think of the end value? What are your expectations, or what are you hoping for?
So we've looked at comparables in the area. We're hoping for between 120 and 130. Had the value in this morning, so again, knock on wood. It went well this morning, so hoping to get a good report back and pull out a fair bit of money. And
yes, the lady's watching. She was really nice.
She was really lovely.
Great surveyor.
Claire.
Yeah. So, no, good. And I guess final thing, obviously, we're in Wales. You could have invested somewhere else, like Blackpool, like you said. Had you not had that survey and lots of issues come up with that house, you then changed project, you've then changed area, which presumably is obviously because we teach and go through how you should invest in the numbers, not necessarily the area. But how do you feel about Wales now? What do you think of South Wales as an investment area?
Wales is phenomenal in terms of the views that you can get in the valleys, and also how much house you can get for, quite honestly, quite little. So, I mean, getting a 3-bed terrace house for 88,500 and then done up value in the regions of 120 or 130, the return on investments and the yields that you can get within this area at the moment looking really strong. And I think Savills are predicting 25% increase in home values over the next
about
5 years.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the locations in the valleys, you've got really good train connections to then take you down into Cardiff. And I think there's a lot of business that is now moving to cheaper areas, given the current economical climate as well. So I think it's just tick, tick, tick for this area. There's a lot of great fundamentals.
Yeah, and it is literally only about a 30-minute drive to Cardiff and Newport from here.
Yeah.
It's really strong fundamentals in that sense. So I see it as a really good growth area, a good opportunity here. So do you think you'll be buying here in future?
There's definitely scope.
Yeah.
I'll diversify as well, but
Yeah.
Wales, it's got a little place in my heart now.
Good.
Been here a couple of times previously with sport, but now here in a different capacity with property.
Glad to hear it. Well, Anwar, thanks for letting us have a look round. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Just 1 week after our visit to Anwar's property, Anwar heard back from the surveyor with the important news he had been waiting for. His refinance had come back and been confirmed at £125,000. Fantastic result, and also great to see a valuer that was able to see through the ongoing works at the property and understand what Anwar was creating. The numbers are the following. Anwar's total costs in the property were £108,500. His new value is now £125,000, and he is getting a 75% loan-to-value mortgage, meaning he will release £93,750 from the property. By my maths, that means £14,750 money left in the deal, and a cash flow that looks like this on screen. £775 rent, a mortgage at 4.7% rate is £378.20 per month. Managing agent at 10% per month is £77.50 per month. Insurance at about £30 per month, giving a profit of around £289.30 per month, and a return on investment of 23.5% per annum. Overall, a great result and a great first BRR deal by Anwar. Thanks to Anwar for coming on the channel. Thanks to you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.